I'll tell you a story. Some of you have heard it many times, but when I first arrived in Berkeley, and I was at some function. I don't know if it was, there were kids there and parents of kids, some sort of like get together. And an acquaintance of ours was telling a story about her father-in-law. And she said, now this has been happening for 20 years. She's like, we have been married for a long, long time. And even before we were married and we were in college, this was happening. And now we have the kids, and it's happening even more. So my father-in-law, there is never a day that goes by that my father-in-law doesn't send us mail. Every day. And not just family mail, but mail to each of us. Personalized. Maybe it's a newspaper clipping. Maybe it's a coupon. Hey, I know you use Tide, whatever. Maybe it's a little note, an old picture. Every day, these pieces of mail come. And, she was saying it kind of like, oh, my father-in-law, and that was just what he did. If they went on vacation, the mail was there piled up. If he went on vacation, there was no lapse. He pre-planned it. He was best friends with the people at the post office. He was like, mail this on this day, right? No lapse. And so she was telling the story, and I thought, wow, this is a character. Like he must not have a whole lot to do. She was talking about how he has like a little, section in the house that's got all the mailings, all the envelopes, Costco, enough, envelopes and all that there. And even the time he would have to think to pre-think. And it wasn't just their little family of four. It was, her husband's siblings and their kids. Like it was an operation. It must have taken a lot of time every day. And it wasn't like the same thing. Everybody had their individual thing that he was sending. And then the inevitable, right? He passed. And the mail kept coming for a few days. Like really, because it wasn't like a long drawn out thing, and he had continued to mail it, and then it didn't come. And it was sort of in that moment that they realized the absolute devotion with which he had made this offering. That every day, the biggest sort of thing that was in his heart was this one ritual act, which was a practice of devotion. And so devotion in the yoga world is called Bhakti. And Bhakti is sort of the yoga of the heart. And it can be practiced in many, many ways. People who are bhaktis are always, whatever it is they're doing with a deeper meaning behind it. And it's an act of service in some way. And so it might be doing the mail, that you're sending it, with love and devotion. Once I went down to Mount Madonna, which is an ashram retreat center, and the fella there, the people who work there, they just work there in service, And there was I called him the soup guy, because when he would hand you the soup, the dal, the lentils, he would just look you right in the eyes, and he was like moan. He didn't speak, and he just looked at you, and it was just like so much like love that he was offering the dal to you with. And I was like, wow. And one day I saw him at somewhere else at a yoga thing, And I went up to him and said, you're the soup guy from Mount Madonna. Thank you for how much love you just handing the soup bowl over to me. And he's like, oh, wow, thanks for remembering. But so Bhakti is sort of the why. of the practice. And you can certainly, absolutely come onto your yoga mat and it not be bhakti. It can be very, it can hold all the other definitions of yoga and be yoga. You're with your breath, you're mindful, there's technique, but there's that infusion of something more and bigger, whatever that is for you. And it doesn't have to be goddess or God or consciousness or any of those things. It can be, I'm practicing today so that I have the ability to send out the mail to the family later. So the devotion comes with adding the meaning into your own practice, and the devotion with which you come to your own practice as a devotional act of self-care, which is also a selfless thing, and it's also a selfish thing. And selfish being like, you should take care of yourself. You should honor and devote yourself to caring for this amazing vehicle that you travel in while you've got it. Because without this, you also then won't be able to serve and offer your devotion to that which you are really devoted to as well. And so when we come here, it's an act of service to yourself, to be the benefactor of the practice, both physically and keeping your mind clear for all the things that are swirling around, because there's something that's bigger that you're also devoted to. And so today, as you practice, every bit of the practice is just take it back to the bigger meaning for you. The bigger meaning for you. Whatever that is, there's nothing that's not worthy. And you are worthy of being that meaning as well.